for those who don't know me, my name is Cara May and welcome to my channel and this video. Today I'm going to be telling some short stories, so let's get into it. So this short story I like to call The Girl with the Headphones, and it's a bit of a cute story. So a lot of the time in high schools, in Australia anyway, I don't know how it works in other countries, but we have like a buddy system. So like year 7s or the youngest year will be paired with older years or the higher ups pretty much, and they sort of get together and do activities sometimes, and the older students will help the younger students out because, you know, it's their first year, they need all the help they can get pretty much. And when I reached year 12, I didn't actually get a buddy, but my friend did, and I don't remember the buddy's name, unfortunately, but I do remember that she was like cutest thing you've ever seen, you've ever heard. She would always, you know how there's that saying, kids say the darndest things? For this one, it was kids say the sweetest things, honestly. And I don't know if anybody knows this, but I tend to always wear the same kind of 3 or 4 scrunchies, and the reason behind that is because they were actually given to me by my friend's buddy. Because even though my friend was not in the same mental group as me, we were still, you know, in this, like in the same area, around the same area in the locker room together. So oftentimes I would see them 2 there and I would say hello. But one time my friend came to me and she had these, she had a whole bunch of scrunchies in her hand, and turns out that that buddy said to my friend, you can have some of these. She went to my friend and said, you can have these if you want, and give some to the girl, your friend, the girl with the headphones, as well. So now I am officially known to her as the girl in the headphones, and I'm very, very proud of that. Because, a little bit of context, in case it wasn't obvious, if you ever see me in public or, you know, at school all the time, 24/7, except you're not at school 24/7, 6'5", I think. Basically, I would always be wearing either headphones like on my head or just around my neck. So I guess I'm the girl with the headphones. I'm the friend with the headphones now. And if she's watching right now, hi. I hope you're doing well. I think Beyonce deserves a cameo, at least. This is Beyonce. Beyonce, get it? He's gonna be joining me for this short story. Look, he's got a little stinger, isn't that adorable? Yep. Okay, so this story is called My Song is Possessed. So, originally I never wanted to go to uni, like ever. I just wanted to keep performing my songs in places like, you know, I perform my songs and other songs in the city, of course, because I'm a Melbourne busker now, and, you know, have something on the side, like, you know, my job in a cafe. But at the end of VCE, for me it was year 12, basically, even if you didn't want to go to uni at all, you had to put into this website 8 different courses ranking from highest to lowest that you would want to be accepted in. You know, even if you didn't want to go to uni, you still had to fill out that website, and it was really, really annoying. I had a feeling that I was going to get accepted into at least one of them, but I was probably going to decline it because I didn't want to go to uni. But right at the end, there was this moment where I opened the website and I was right. I had only been accepted into one of the courses, but it was my top choice. My top choice. It was like a songwriting course. But songwriting and music production course, I think. So I went through all these different I had all these different discussions with staff there, and it got to this point where I had to have a Zoom meeting and basically showcase a couple of my songs. The songs that I did showcase, I had to showcase at least 2. So I showcased Isolation, of course, round of applause for me, yes I know. And I also showcased my new upcoming single, when it was just an instrumental. So I had the instrumental fully done, and I knew exactly what the vocals were going to sound like in my head, but I hadn't recorded them yet. Of course I have now, and it's going to be out pretty damn soon. I hope you're all excited. So I had an instrumental piano, which is Isolation, instrumental piano track, and an instrumental rock tune, which has vocals on it, but you know. They understood. They said it was totally fine just as long as it's original, and they're like different genres, if you know what I mean. And I said, yeah, they are completely different. So they, in the meeting, they didn't get to hear my new single. They did get to hear Isolation, but the reason why they didn't get to hear my new single is because so you know how in the beginning of Isolation there's this, I just start with the 4 basic chords in the chord progression just by themselves, really dark, down in a lower-ish octave, to like really set the mood. It's very dramatic. So it had gotten to those 4 chords in the beginning, and just as it started the first phrase of the song, where it starts to get a little bit rhythmic, suddenly the call just completely stops. It freezes for like a couple of seconds, and suddenly I'm gone, and I'm like, okay, that's a bit weird. And I come back on, and they're like, sorry about that, sorry. And I'm like, it's alright, I don't even know what happened. I thought I did something wrong. And they said, nah, the power just went out at the campus. And I'm like, oh my god, you could see the light. There was no light, pretty much, in their room. You could still see them, but there was a little bit of sunlight, but no like internal light like you would see like in front of me. I just said like so many times in that sentence. So eventually they heard the instrumental for my new single later, because they had to stop the call pretty soon because, you know, the power had just gone out, the call wasn't working really well. So they only really heard the first couple of chords of the song Isolation, but they did hear the rest, of course, and then they complimented it and all that. They said that my new single rocks, so I'm really happy with that. And I did get accepted into that course, but I turned it down. But there was a moment in that call where we like made a joke that my song is possessed. It turned off all the lights because of my really dark energy in that song. So that's what happened there. This one doesn't really have a title, I don't think, but basically, oh, it kind of does. Year 12. Theatre Studies Exam Mistake. So, I want this to be a short story, but I might have to do a little bit of explaining. So, the exam is split up into these sections, and this mistake was in the last section. I don't exactly remember what the mistake was. Oh, I think in the last part we had to choose either one or... There were 2 questions, and you had to choose one or the other, and it was based off a play that we had seen during the year.
It's editing Karame here. I am green, but I need to explain this because I completely forgot what the mistake was, but I remembered and I had to cut out all that footage because it took too long, but I'll explain it now. So basically, at the beginning of the year, there was a list of plays that everyone was gonna see, at least pretty much just one of them, and at the end of the exam, there was a list of all the plays that all of the year level had recognized, and you'd had to go to the page that had your play, and there were 2 questions there, but there was one question there that there were 2 questions. They had kind of swapped them around. It was a bit of a situation like that. So if you tried to answer one, you would actually be answering the second question. If you had to answer the second question, you'd be actually answering the first one. So it was almost as if they hadn't written it properly. Hopefully that made sense. Now let's get back to it.
But the detail that I do remember is that I wasn't the only one who picked it up, and I wasn't the first one to pick it up either. Someone else, one of the students in our class, put their hand up and said there's a mistake, and we weren't going nuts. It actually was a mistake. So we realized that the mistake was that bad and undoable, I guess, for the question, that we had to call VCAA, I think there's 2 A's, VCAA, who are in charge of like writing the exams and stuff. We had to call them and say there's a mistake, and they were like, I don't remember if they knew or if we were the first people to bring it up, but they realized that there was a mistake, and they said that they couldn't change it and just to write your way around it as best as possible, and they'll take that into consideration when marking. So it was a very, very hard, I guess, question to do, and we're all discussing at the end like, what did you guys write? Because I had no idea what to write. And some people were saying, oh yeah, I wrote this and this and this, and they're like, oh yeah, I guess that kind of makes sense, but it also doesn't because it was such a bad mistake. So yeah, annoying, but it had to happen. I have just realized that there are quite a lot of school-related stories in this, because this next one is also related to my high school experience, and it's called my ATAR score. An ATAR score is a score that you're given at the end of the year. There's an ATAR score and there's a study score. The ATAR score is out of 99.95, I think, and the study score is out of 40, I think. My study score was alright, I think. I don't exactly remember. I think it was like 27 or 8. I don't remember, but either way, if you get like around a 30 or higher up, it's pretty good. But the average that a student would get is around 20 or 25 for the study score. An average ATAR score, I believe, was around 65, 70, and yeah, around 70 pretty much. So in year 12, we had to, well, we didn't have to, but it was preferred that you do a prediction. And there was this website that you could go on to where you basically put in every single grade you've ever gotten in your high school life ever. And based off that, it'll give you a prediction of what your ATAR score might be. My predicted ATAR score was 75.85, if I remember that specifically correct. It was definitely 75, and I think it was 75.85. So that was pretty damn good. I was like, oh wow, hopefully if I keep working hard enough this year, I'll get around that, or even less, a little bit less than that, I don't mind. A little bit more than that would be great. But if I do get around that same score, I'll be happy. Not that I need it to get into any, uni courses, because I wasn't gonna go to uni, but yeah, that was my thoughts on that. So by the end of the year, when that time came around that the scores come out, at that time, it's a pretty big thing. But when you graduate, or get into the course you want, or go straight into the workforce, or just completely forget about it, it's really not that big of a deal, your ATAR score. The ATAR score is really only relevant for the first year or two that you get out of high school, that you graduate. The point of this story is that I didn't. And my friends all agreed on this. I worked so goddamn hard. I studied so many hours of the day, and I missed out on so many fun opportunities. It is the reason why the song Drowsy exists, okay? My year 12 experience, and year 11 experience, because VC is 2 years, are the reason why the song Drowsy exists. And if you listen to the lyrics, you will understand where I'm coming from. It's literally about FOMO, fear of missing out, because of study, pretty much, or work. At the end of the year, I get my ATAR score, in an email, and then eventually in the mail, and it was a 44. Or it was a 48. It was one of those. I think it was a 48. 48 point something. That is below average. That is very, very below average. Not even close to my expected score. So I was really disappointed in that. I was done dirty by the education system, as everybody was, so I'm not trying to like say, you know, give me pity, but, you know, an interesting story, don't you think? So that's it. I hope you enjoyed. And that's all from me. For now, anyways. If you enjoyed this, maybe consider giving me a follow or a subscribe or whatever the terminology is. If you do subscribe or follow me or whatever it is and listen to my music, that would mean that you're one of my Lavenders. And if you're already one of my Lavenders watching this, then I hope you enjoyed. And a reminder to stream my music and keep an eye out. There's no release date yet, but there will be soon, of my new single, which I have yet to reveal the title, but I will soon, of course. You can see a teaser for it on my YouTube channel, this very same channel, and it's #1 of my original song sneak peeks, I believe. Yeah, it's #1. So you can hear that teaser for it, so you can get a little bit of an idea what it sounds like. But until then, or my next video, or whenever I see you next, this is Karame. I'm gonna do a double one, because why not? This is Karame signing out. Okay, bye-bye Lavenders. I love you all. See you later.